You are listening to All Things Transformers. Maximals, maximize.
Happy 6th anniversary, Steve, because today is August 9th, 2014. 6 years ago, you created All Things Transformers. What are you going to do now?
I'm going to go to Disney World.
So yes, it has been 6 years to the day since Steve created All Things Transformers. Do you have any brief thoughts on this 6-year journey before we get into the first countdown of the final episodes of the podcast?
I'm kind of... It's kind of bittersweet at this point. I'm glad to see it wind down, but I'm also not at the same time because it was my first solo podcast. Mm-hmm. So I think it's served its purpose and it's been fun, and who knows what'll happen in the future.
Exactly, because seeds of the future lie buried in the past.
Sometimes.
And God, now all I can hear is your Megatron voice saying a completely different line to the ending of that.
The seeds of the future lie buried in her ass.
And with that, here is episode 44 of All Things Transformers.
You're listening to All Things Transformers, version 2.0.
Hello and welcome to All Things Transformers episode 44. I'm your host Steve Megatron Phillips, and joining me in this adventure into Transformers Topless is
TFG and Mike.
And Pecan Court Michael. Hey, how's it going?
It's going.
Did you say topless?
Yes. Topless.
Yes, that's what he said. Topless robots right there.
I am down for that.
Yes.
We took Black Arachnia and Elite One and RC into Rat Trap's favorite place.
Oh, no. His club. It's not the amusement park, kiddo.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Yeah, they don't call it the Sky Coaster for nothing.
Oh boy.
Does it go a mile high?
Yes, there is a Mile High Club on Cybertron.
It's a Mile High coaster.
You know how they achieve that, don't you? They ride a jet.
Look, I'm standing on a jet. Look at your man, now back to me. Look at your man, now back to me. Oh god, I just watched that commercial the other day.
What, was Megatron on Starscream?
Yes.
It's a good commercial.
The Old Spice, yeah.
It's funny.
Yes.
So this episode of All Things Transformers, we're done with the series, we're done with the movies, thank God. Originally, these next 5 episodes were going to be something different, and then I'm like, what's going to be interesting for everybody to hear the final episodes of All Things Transformers? I'm like, ooh, we can do top lists of various things.
Top list.
And not topless, top lists.
Topless.
Oh,
I
that's
like it
what
better.
Get the list. Understand?
Topless.
I like it topless.
So we've got 5 countdowns that we're going to be doing. And the first one is the our personal top 10, each of ours favorite Transformers episodes from all generations. So you could pick anything. In my case, I picked anything except the Unicron trilogy or the stuff that was done in Japan. Um, what about you, Steve? How did you go about making your list?
If it was an episode I could watch more than one time
Okay.
and enjoy it every time I watch it,
Mm-hmm.
then it's on my list.
Ah, interesting. What about you, Michael? How'd you go about making yours?
I basically, thought about my childhood memories and what comes to the fore, when I think about Transformers. And it's a lot of G1, and then it's a lot of animated stuff, to be honest, because those are my two favorite continuities.
Interesting. For me, I have most of my favorite episodes from any of the cartoons that are based here in the US in my head already. So I just wrote down 10 to 1 and I'm like, okay, what do I like from Beast Wars? Okay, I like this, this, and this. What do I like from G1? Okay, there's this one, and then there's this one. There's just way too many G1 episodes to pick from. I mean, we could do a whole separate countdown of just G1 episodes. We're not going to. Not yet, anyway.
Just a top 20 of G1 episodes.
Yeah.
Each season had like 60 or something ridiculous like that.
First season had 16. Second season had somewhere around 60. Third season might have been 13. And the non-existent fourth season had Rebirth. Which surprisingly is not on my list.
Not surprisingly.
So that's how I went about doing my list. I think we're going to give you guys a sample of some Transformers episode quotes, and we're going to come back and start the countdown after this.
One shall stand, one shall fall. One shall stand, and one shall fall.
I love you.
Shut up, bitch, I'm not done.
No, not fair. Why is the meter minding our own business when bang! Gets whole stasis pod right up the kazootie.
Yo, string butt! Got a pair of belly bombs here with your name right on them. Eat them and wait.
I come in peace.
You're about to leave in pieces.
No need for violence, Rhinox. I merely wish to talk.
Go ahead. It's a free planet. I'm busy.
Stubborn Maximal fool. He'll soon regret this impertinence.
All right, let the countdown begin. But before we do that, we have to talk about some honorable mentions. Michael, any honorable mentions you actually remember?
I culled the list pretty finely, but two that immediately came back to my mind. The first was a G1 episode, The Secret of Omega Supreme, which we remember because it's like the only Omega Supreme episode that just features him. And it's special for me because when I was little, I had the Omega Supreme toy. So I really like this one. And secondly, under Beast Wars, Possession, which brought back Starscream's ghost.
Interesting. What about you, Steve?
What about Starscream's toast?
It always lands butter side down.
Yep.
Ew, that's messy.
That's what she said. She'd like it like that. No,
You missed out on an opportunity there. That totally should have been Chris Latta.
yeah,
I can't do it. I don't
don't have it in me right now.
Chris Latta, that's what she said, would have been awesome.
That's what she said.
Right. See, I can't do it all the way tonight, but
Thank you, Gollum. Yeah.
That's what she said. With my precious.
You can do Gollum at 11 o'clock at night, but
It's
you
because
can't do
Starscream's register is a lot higher.
It's a throat
Uh-huh.
ripper. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You should have gargled with salt water before.
Well, unless I went,
Lick my boot, Baroness.
There you go. I would have settled for Cobra Commander.
That's what she said, Baroness.
Yeah.
Good Lord. Steve, any honorable mentions?
yeah, I have. I actually have a few. My list consists of. Why does the document disappear? I can't help it. Beast Machines, the reformatting, because I had to whittle down on other episodes trying to encompass most of the American end of it. I got rid of Beast Wars, the Agenda Part 3, only because I have some other ones I like more that are in Beast Wars. TFG 1, I have Starscream's Ghost. Technically, this is considered not an episode, but it's a continuation of the show, and that's Predacons Rising.
Yeah, the movie. Okay.
So I don't have it on there only because it's not technically an episode. That would be like including Transformers the movie in there and saying it's better than everything else.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yes, you're right. Predacons Rising was the finale movie, but Stephen Melching did tell us that originally it was going to be 3 more episodes of the show. But yeah, you're right. For me, honorable mentions. Ghost in the Machine from G1. I love Cyclonus at the end of that. But ghosts can't tumble through space. War Dawn, because we see Optimus's origin story as Orion Pax. And when we interviewed David Wise so long ago, he told us that there was an extended scene to that no one ever knew about, that it was he initially, when Megatron and Optimus met, Megatron ripped his arm off. I find now, 30 years later, that I really love the Key to Vector Sigma 2-parter, because it shows us that Yakko, Rob Paulson, is Slingshot, one of the aerial bots. The other one is, I love the Ultimate Doom 3-parter, when they bring Cybertron to Earth. And my number one honorable mention is... Can anybody guess?
The entire TFG1 podcast?
No, that all sucked. Present company excluded. My number one favorite honorable mention episode, only because it's been a running joke since the show started, since the episode since the podcast episode that cartoon was reviewed.
Say it with me now.
Go blow your load.
Because we all go back to the low road.
You go to the low road.
All roads lead to
the low road. I don't know. I'm not someone normally that finds dick and fart jokes funny. They are funny every now and then, but I'm sorry, Rhinox is a giant robot rhinoceros sneezing and farting all over the base. That is hilarious to me.
And this is coming from the same guy that hates Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I like it. And I like
hate
it.
Ren and Stimpy? That's
Don't get him started on that.
It's not. No.
Sacrilege.
No, wait. It's not because of the content. It's not because of whatever story they're trying to tell that week. It's because of the animation, and it's so gross.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's funny.
That's the only reason why. It has nothing to do with the actual content. It has to do with the display of the content.
My ice cream bar.
That's right.
How
Stephen, you idiot!
Screamy Santa.
I love that show.
Oh my God. All right. So, number 10, Michael, what is your number 10?
Oh, criminy, we had to number them? Mine are not really numbered. Mine are just in order of air date. So I didn't realize I actually had to put forth the effort to order them. So I'm going to stick with my chronology here, and I'll say that my number 10 is animated Endgame, episode 41 and 42, because it's just chock full of awesome.
Yes, it is. What about you, Steve? Number 10?
Yes. Transformers Animated. Predacons Rising.
Even though Megatron wasn't even in that episode?
But was.
Briefly. My number 10 is the three-parter from G1, Started It All, More Than Meets the Eye. This is...
As your 10?
Yep. No, keep in mind, these are favorite. These are not best. These are favorite episodes. These are not best episodes.
You know what's funny, though, is because I've got that as my number 1, but only because it's chronological, right? You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it still might have been my number 1. I don't know.
All the Facebook messages that I had sent you guys said the actual listing says Transformers Countdown number 1, top 10 favorite episodes, all generations.
And we read.
So, I have my top 10.
Apparently not.
Didn't say anything about order. He just said.
So, More Than Meets the Eye, three-parter. Obviously, it's the beginning of everything for the cartoons. I love the space chase. I love how silly Optimus Prime, Peter Cullen, sounds when he's like, "We come from Cybertron. It's in the sky." It was an amazing setup for the entire series of G1 for the opening three-parter. Okay, Michael, number 9.
Number 9, and we're still dealing with animated because, again, we're going backwards in time. It's A Bridge Too Close, episode 28 and 29, where they introduce the Starscream clones and the fact that Sari is actually a Cybertronian. Or at that point, Sari's a robot. They didn't come out and say she was a Cybertronian yet.
Right.
Say they were sorry yet on air.
That episode was awesome because they worked in so many cool things with the clones, because each clone is a personality of Starscream, but it's also a repaint, not a repaint, but it's a repaint of Starscream into the other jets, so they were able to actually work in the Skywarp, the Thundercracker,
right,
the Ram, all
Sunstorm.
that stuff.
Yeah, they're all in there.
Yeah, they're all in there, plus a new character as well.
You know what's weird, and I'm not sure which came first, but today I was watching Teen Titans episodes with my boys, and we watched, just this morning, the episode where Raven, they accidentally get sucked into Raven's mind, and they meet all the different Raven colors. It immediately reminded me of the Starscream clones.
Yeah. I love it in that episode after he creates them. So which part of my personality did you come from? You don't want to know.
You don't want to know.
This is going to be a long orbital cycle. Steve, 9.
Transformers Prime. Deadlock.
Really, at number 9. Interesting.
Yes.
What was that about?
Deadlock was the finale.
The one where Megatron proceeded to give the smackdown, and Ratchet was basically the Rhinox of the episode, and then Bumblebee was like the Cheetor, kind of saving the day, more or less, and saving Prime. Well, actually, I would equate him more to being the hot rod, to the Optimus Prime.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
So,
see now. Notice that since I'm going in reverse chronological order, I didn't start with any Prime episodes.
Yeah, because you hate Prime.
I don't necessarily hate Prime, but I don't have any that are my favorite. If it were a top 20, maybe I would have thrown a Prime in there, but there just weren't. I mean, of the top 10 that I remember more vividly, that come to my mind immediately, none of them came from Transformers Prime.
Wow. My number 9 is from Transformers Prime. It's an episode entitled -1 from Season 3. This was the episode where they got the vocoder back and Soundwave actually spoke. I friggin' loved that. Because it's an episode where the Autobots -1 is after Optimus gets his new body. We can tell how interested Michael is because of the judicious use of mute while yawning.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's an
I thought I hit
episode.
mute.
No.
You can edit that out. I'm sorry. You should have heard me earlier. I took a big drink of water and I was like, I was belching so loud. It scared the cat.
Okay,
Usually
so
much better
minus.
at this.
Yes, you usually are. -1 is an episode that has Optimus and the Autobots the upper hand on the Decepticons because they have captured Soundwave. And capturing Soundwave is just an interesting thing for these Autobots because they don't know what the hell to do with him. This guy hasn't talked for almost 65 episodes now, and it's basically all exposition between. Well, it's not exposition, but it's all back and forth between the Autobots, and then they start threatening him, and everything else, and then he starts erasing data, and and Bulkhead's like, I think this is the only time in Prime that Bulkhead was a little more of the animated Bulkhead personality than actually Prime Bulkhead, because he's like, oh cool, he's downloading data. Ratchet's like, no, he's erasing data. And as soon as Soundwave erased all his data, a giant smiley face appeared on his little no faceplate eye visor thingy, and he says the infamous line from the movie.
It wasn't.
Altered.
It was altered.
It was. That's what I said. It was altered, but Soundwave superior, Autobots inferior. As soon as I heard the vocoder, I was like, yes, thank God. So yeah, number 9 for me is -1. Michael, what is your number 8?
Animated, Garbage In, Garbage Out with Weird Al Yankovic. Episode 17.
You wouldn't dare to be that stupid. I am Rekar. I dare to be stupid.
I dare to be stupid. It's just, that episode just makes me happy. I just really like. I think that was the first time I'd ever heard Weird Al voice a character, and it was just perfect, and it was just such a great character. And there's a lot of other animated episodes that I really enjoyed, but that one, just makes me giggle thinking about it.
Absolutely. Yeah, Garbage In, Garbage Out. I love the part of that scene at the end where he's like, you gotta slow the boat down. Oh, okay. You made it speed up, and you can see it jumping out of the water. I love that part. Steve, number 8.
Ghost in the Machine. Because I love the fact that Starscream possesses Cyclonus, Scourge, has to basically give Unicron back stolen parts so that he can get a new body.
Oh,
before he gets ejected into space. And
right, that was one of my honorable mentions that I forgot. It was the eyeball who has the eyeball episode.
Well, I just love the fact that Unicron restores him and then is like too stupid to notice that there's treachery amok, and Starscream's like, do it yourself, and throws the wire down like a big FU, and then starts tormenting Galvatron, and Galvatron's like, everybody fire!
Absolutely. Yeah, the funniest thing about Ghost in the Machine is once Starscream possesses Cyclonus' body, Cyclonus' face animation changes completely. He all of a sudden has a little... It's not even a goatee. It's like a stretch of black facial hair on his face, and his chin is... It was so weird, because every time Starscream possessed anyone else, their faces never changed.
I'd chalk it up to bad animation, like
Yeah,
the
I
rest
would
of that
too.
series.
Yeah, no, I know that, yeah, but...
Especially when it hits season 4.
Well, 3 episodes doesn't this? Yeah. Anyway, number 8 for me is from animated. It is Endgame 2-parter. I wanted more out of this. Like that last 59 seconds of part 2, it's like, give me more. This can't be the end of this series. But Endgame was amazing.
It ended so well, though.
It did.
Yeah.
It did.
That was
very much.
I was gonna say that was my number 10. Yeah. Actually, no. Endgame was a two-parter, so 41 and 42.
Yeah.
But there were so many cool scenes there. It was like, my name is Optimus Prime. Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah. Good,
right.
Good series closer.
Number 7, Michael.
Beast Wars: The Agenda, episode 37 through 39. It was a three-parter.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of goodness there.
Oh yeah.
It was we got to revisit G1 an awful lot, and I think that's kind of what kindled my real interest in Beast Wars, because it was like, not really into this whole new animal thing, and then oh wait, there's G1.
So you got a little Autobotly taste.
Exactly. Yeah, good stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, the agenda was amazing for several reasons. Number one, the Decepticons Forever line, and the fact that Ravage still transformed into a tape.
Into a tape, right.
Number two, at I believe it was Agenda, when Rat Trap got his way into the ship and threw the belly bombs at Tarantulas. I thought that was great. What about you for number 7, Steve?
The Return of Optimus Prime, two-parter. Because we got to see the True Leader return. Yes, and I love the fact that he got the special medal that there just happened to be just enough to cover Optimus Prime and Optimus Prime alone. And Galvatron happened to have some of it.
Yeah. Galvatron actually had to lead them through half of that episode.
Well, and the funny thing is he had it for no apparently good reason.
Yeah, that's true.
And he had to more or less become an Autobot for the episode because everybody else was against him too.
Yep. Alright, number 7 for me is Deadlock, because Eric Matthews actually did something correct. Eric Matthews, Will Friedle, voices Bumblebee, and Bumblebee basically gutted the hell out of Megatron, right in the Decepticon symbol, baby. Deadlock was by far one of the best series finales for a Transformers cartoon. It wrapped everything up really nicely, even though Predacons Rising would wrap it up even more and kind of push it towards the new series that's coming up next year. Deadlock was a very, very good finisher for the actual cartoon series. So number 6, Michael?
Number 6 for me would be Beast Wars. The Beast Wars, episode 1 and 2. That's when they actually introduced the characters for the new show. And again, if it was Agenda that got me in, it was the season opener or the series opener that really kind of like, wow, well, this is cool. I can relate to these characters. I kind of dig it.
Absolutely.
Did you dig it with a shovel?
Yeah, we
dug it with a spade.
What's his name?
I dug it with a hoe. Oh, stop!
Can't you just lend us a shovel?
Just lend us a shovel.
All right, Steve, number 6.
Number 6 is. This one's tough because I like all of these on a major plane. Damn.
It's hard to pick one. It's like choosing from my babies. Can't pick it.
I think I'll say Possession.
Because you have a Arnold moment with Optimus Primal, where he gets the sunglasses. You have the Maximals faking out Starscream,
Yeah.
who's apparently too stupid to figure it out. You have Megatron trying to see where, more or less, to feel it out and see where it was going to go. You have poor Waspinator getting used.
Won't go the same.
And blown to bits.
And abused.
And Megatron sitting there, like, smacking his head back onto his torso afterward.
Mm-hmm.
At the very end. And Black Arachnia is, like, playing with his pride, more or less.
Yeah.
She's got a big handful of his pride.
Yeah, and he likes it.
I do love it every time she calls him Grape Face. I don't know why, but I do love when she calls him that.
I do wish she'd quit calling me that.
If I could do a raspy Jim Burns, I would so say Inferno's line. All right,
Yes,
number
my
6.
queen.
And this is where you're supposed to reply to yourself, Megatron.
I do wish she'd quit calling me that.
Number 6 for me. Shut up. Number 6 for me is the Nemesis 2-parter from Beast Wars. I love this episode. I think it's really interesting. If you look at Beast Wars 1 and 2 and see where the Ark landed and see where the Nemesis landed, we finally get to see where the Nemesis landed in Nemesis Part 2, in the Nemesis 2-parter.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that Tarantulas, they didn't really make too much of a mention out of this outside of Agenda, though. They said that he was Lieutenant Tarantulas of the Predacon Secret Police.
Right.
That's the only time they mention that. And then Megatron in Nemesis says, oh, well, maybe Tarantulas left a legacy that I can yet utilize. And I'm like, okay, but the dude basically betrayed you. I know you're trying to find the ultimate weapon here, but Beast Wars Nemesis 2-parter actually made the Nemesis cool. Because in G1, we saw it for 5.5 seconds, maybe less, before it crashed, and then it was just an underwater base
Exactly.
the rest of the series.
Well, the thing you got to remember, too, is Tarantulas worked for the Decepticon Predacon Council, and that he was a part of the secret police, and he was a scientist also, so you kind of mix all those little pots together. He was running his own agenda and going to eventually either escape with the Ark or with the Nemesis, or return it back to its rightful owners or whatnot. Because he didn't care if he screwed the timeline.
Oh no, he didn't care.
Because he said he had different origins, which means he's got to be something tied to, like, Unicron in some degree.
Mm.
It's the only explanation, because he doesn't have any maximal Predacon unless he's the Decepticon.
It's an interesting thought.
You said it.
All right, number 5, Michael.
Starscream's Brigade. It's a G1 episode 62. I'm starting off here in season 2 because nothing in season 3 jumped out at me. I mean, yeah, Optimus Prime comes back to life, but, I can't count on one hand anymore how many times that's happened.
I figured you would have at least given the Zombie Prime episode Dark Awakening a mention, since you love zombies so much.
It's a fun genre, but I really didn't like that episode. Honestly, once you start introducing Quintessons into the mix, my eyes start glazing over, and it's like,
Spare me this mockery of justice.
Exactly.
All right, Steve, number 5.
My number 5.
The Low Road.
No, below me.
No.
I refuse. You can't make me.
Try me.
Coming to the Fusors.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Because I liked the kind of odd Western feel that they spun on the episodes, and the unique method of bringing Optimus Primal back.
Yeah, put his
by
his
using a
spark in a-
stasis pod that was a blank and calling his spark back from the Matrix, which Rhinox was like basically internet surfing on Pirate Bay and pulling Optimus Primal back. Like, I'm going to download a copy of Optimus Primal from the net. And then he's like, well, we're only on 56K, so it's going to take some time. And
You're so right.
And he dumps them back in there, and then Primal's like, look who's Prime. And, goes out there and stomps ass.
Yeah, I like Blue Surf and Optimus Primal. I don't know about his robot mode, though, but I do like the Blue Ape. I thought that was really cool.
See, I was never a fan of the Blue Ape, basically because I didn't like the toy. Was not a fan of the toy. Did not like the figure.
My number 5 is from Transformers Prime. It is from Season 3. Chain of Command.
Haven't they done that one already?
No.
Beast Wars.
Okay, it's the same episode title, but it's a completely different thing.
I know.
Chain of Command is an episode written by Margaret Scott. It mostly deals with the Wreckers and Miko trying to escape with one of the relics. The reason why this is my number 5 is because of what happens in this episode. Basically, Ultra Magnus, Bulkhead, and Wheeljack are down facing Predaking. Well, Miko climbs to the top to get to the ship to warn the other Autobots. Well, she doesn't get there, and Starscream stops her. But Starscream stupidly took off his armor. And then, oh my god, we have a 21st century exosuit with the Apex armor around. I sat here slack-jawed for 20 minutes while that was happening. I was like, ooh, I had to keep rewinding. I'm like, no, wait, she didn't. Oh my god, they put an exosuit reference in this episode. That was so amazing.
See, now, when you have a 12-year-old girl suddenly learning Kung Fu, I'm looking for Skybite. Because they're jumping the shark.
That is so... Okay. Number 4, Michael.
My number 4 was War Dawn, G1 episode 59. This is the one where the aerial bots are being all cocky, and they go back in time, way back in time, to see how the Great War started and see the birth of Optimus Prime.
And that's why Optimus brought him back in the future.
Yep.
I don't think that's why he brought him back, because it wasn't until after they came back and reminded him, oh yeah, we met you in the past, and he went, oh yeah.
So it was you 5.
Yeah,
exactly.
Which explains why he decided to bring those 5.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
It kind of throws continuity off.
Well, it's kind of like the creation of the Constructicons.
Yeah. Secret of Omega Supreme was the best origin for them.
They changed it twice. They changed it twice.
Yeah. There used to be 7.
No.
In one continuity, there was 8.
Oh, God,
really?
Stop it.
No.
Oh, okay.
Steve, number 4.
Optimal situation. Because it was kind of an optimal situation. You had 2 Optimists. And Megatron's telling his Predacons to
Pull yourselves together.
even though there was really no way they should have been able to pull together because they were all in itty-bitty pieces or torched by a nuke. But, screw Ravage, we'll just leave his freaking carcass and his head sitting there, and, Tarantulas' little drone will knock it off into the ocean, and everybody else can put themselves back together. Guess it doesn't pay to be a Decepticon.
No, not really. Their salaries are pretty low.
They got hosed.
They got hosed.
They got hosed.
Because, at least if they had a real beast form, they could live on without the spark, Decepticons forever, Oh, we turned into a cassette. You're fucked.
Yep.
Well, it's kind of hurtful, too, because Waspinator pulls himself together, like, twice an episode.
He got touched by an immortal spark. He can't die. Just like Deadpool.
I wouldn't doubt it.
I think that just a little bit off topic here. I think my two favorite Waspinator moments where he got, actually three, where he got demolished was the very first time Rhinox fired the Gatling gun on him and he just went all to pieces. The time where Dinobot ripped him into single thin shreds, sliced him up like a really...
Transmetal 2 did.
Yep.
And then I like the one where he gets trash compacted.
Waspinator Cube, yep.
Waspinator put his own self to the CR tank.
Yep. Number 4 for me is the Return of Optimus Prime 2-parter. I'm a Peppa. Would you like to be a Peppa too? Just the...
That was memorable, yeah.
Just the sheer fact of... don't get me wrong, the writing in this episode is really good, but just the sheer fact that they had to say sun spores created a hate plague when we get most of our solar spores from this sun. And they don't necessarily say what sun it is because they don't say if it's near Earth or anything. It's just some distant planet. It just, I don't know, it's just kind of silly and weird, but I love when Ultra Magnus turns evil and he's chasing Rodimus and basically telling him, I taught you everything you know, kid. If it wasn't for me, you'd be dead by now, and blah, 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 blah. But what I love about this one is Galvatron's reluctance to help them, because there's a scene where they get trapped by the spider web, and Optimus is like, Galvatron, you're our only hope.
Where's R2 when you need him?
Oh, fine, very well. Come on. And in that episode, Optimus Prime turns into Ultra Magnus. Because after that time, every white Optimus Prime repaint is named Ultra Magnus.
As it should be.
No.
Yeah.
No.
We need a white Optimus Prime and a black Optimus Prime. We need a Scourge and Spider versus Spy. We need a Scourge and we need an Ultra Magnus repaint.
No.
And the nice thing is they both can have those nice teal highlights because...
God. Number 3, Michael.
Saving paint. Number 3, Heavy Metal War, G1 Episode 16. I believe this is the season finale for Season 1, where they when the Constructicons merge for the kill.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, it's near and dear to my heart because when I was little, I had the Constructicon gift set. I was really proud of that. Loved that set. Played with it till it broke.
Yeah, I wish Megatron would have saved that trick for a little while because...
You alright?
Yeah.
He died.
They had to do it then because I want to say they were already writing the Transformers movie.
They were.
Yeah, and like that was their big trick.
I just love Starscream in that episode. My control chip lets him do 6 different things, and he's just boasting all over the place. But I love basically super powered up Megatron. That was really awesome.
Yeah.
Steve, number 3.
This one's a little difficult. All right, I can narrow it down. Master of the House.
I call it my throne room, Optimus Primal.
Yes, from Beast Machines.
A few memory gaps to fill.
Yep.
Let's start with the Beast Wars. They're over. You lost.
Yeah, there's just so many memorable lines right in there, and then
I thought you were gonna do the whole thing too.
The sad thing is, I have the whole thing memorized.
I know you do. Yeah.
I used to walk around work doing it, so, and then people would look at me. So yeah, that's one of my favorite episodes of Beast Machines, because Megatron's in it and his new upgrade, and the fact that he's thoroughly thrashing the other Maximals while Primal's getting discouraged, and his ego's being beaten down simultaneously because he's like, I don't remember what happened, but I know we beat you, and Megatron's like, yeah, you suck.
My number 3 is Optimal Situation. Boy, Optimus learns a new body fast. He changes them often enough. Just the fact that everyone that complains about Beast Wars says, oh, well, the CGI sucks. It was 1996, people. Of course, it's not going to stand up to the CGI of today. But back then, it was amazing to see a fully CGI Optimus Prime inside the Ark. That was amazing.
But even 1996 standards were a far cry from like season 3.
Well, yeah.
You notice the background's getting better. You notice the character models getting better. Everything got better. By the time the season wrapped up, it was like, wow, this is just amazing stuff.
And the really cool thing about Optimal Situation is we actually see Optimus use all 4 modes of his new body. That was really cool.
Again.
Huh?
He never does it again.
No, it's the only time he did it. There are times where he uses the alt, which this always creeped me out. He has
beast mode.
Yeah, he has two vehicle modes, a flying mode and a car mode, and he has a beast mode robot mode with an ape face, and he has a regular robot mode with his old face put on a prime body. All right, number 2.
The gorilla mode is all right. Well, I'm sorry. Let's not go down that rat hole.
No,
I like the gorilla more than I like the blue one.
I don't know. I think it's a little weird that he has a gorilla mode for his robot mode. That's a little
he's
strange.
still a gorilla. He's Magilla Gorilla.
Oh God, no, he's not. He's not that dumb.
I want to say, didn't he have like wings that came down over his forearms to make it look like he had big gorilla forearms? And you turned his feet around so he had beast feet. So he had a transformation from beast mode to robot mode that wasn't much worse than pretty much any other Beast Wars figure.
Well, he did have a Magilla Gorilla moment when he got the cyber venom, the transmetal cyber venom, and he goes, "My little guy, isn't he cute?"
That's right.
All right, Michael, number 2.
Number 2, SOS Dinobots, episode 8 of G1.
Why?
Well, number 1 is because
it gave Simon Furman his job.
It gave him something to bring back over and over and over and over again. It's when they introduce the Dinobots in the cartoon continuity, and again, I didn't read the comic books, so I didn't have a Dinobot comic book continuity introduction to draw from, but I really liked the Dinobots when I was little. And I want to say a couple episodes later, when the Dinobots they actually come back, and I forget the name of it offhand.
Dinobot Island.
No, it wasn't Dinobot Island. Dinobot Island was like season 2.
Fire in the Sky?
No, after Fire in the Sky. Fire in the Sky was
Skyfire.
Jetfire. Yeah, or Jetfire, Skyfire. Yeah. It was the episode after that. It was oh, criminy. Check the wiki real fast. I forget. But it's basically the one where the Optimus Prime needs the Dinobots' help, and they say,
no.
Yeah, Grimlock is like, no, no, me no help you, me king. Screw you, buddy.
So Optimus Prime makes 2 more Autobot. Dinobots.
Yeah, but that was going to be on my honorable mention. It almost took the place of SOS Dinobots. But
War of the Dinobots. It was right
there it
before
is. Yeah.
Ultimate Doom. Yeah.
War of the Dinobots, right? So War of the Dinobots was the one that almost made my number 2. But I really like the one where they created the Dinobots as well. That was back before TF Prime screwed up the Wheeljack character. So
Oh, stop it.
Wheeljack got to actually create the Dinobots.
Yeah. Number 2, Steve.
Oh crap.
Worst joke ever.
You've done worse. This sucks. Choosing 1 and 2. Because these are the ones that are really kind of my keystones for all things Transformers. Yeah, bad wordplay. I'm gonna say Endgame Part 3, Seeds of the Future, is my number 2. Because you get to see Megatron in optimal body fighting Beast Machine Optimus, who I don't quite care for the body. So it was nice seeing a remnant from Beast Wars come back. And Megatron's basically... I think it was like a pun from Mainframe, because they're like, Hasbro cut the budget, so I didn't have much time for a new body, so this is what we got. And Megatron basically says the same thing. For the lack of preparation, this is all I could come up with at the short notice. And, and so you have Megatron floating around kicking Primal's ass royally, and then he gets his arm dismembered and shoves it back on, and then just keeps on trucking. And he uses all the modes except for the Beast mode, which he got rid of.
Oh, see, that's what I was going to ask. Is didn't he use all the modes as Megatron? But no, he didn't use the Beast mode. Because I remember car mode and jet mode. And
he was like,
He actually used jet mode also as... That's why they got rid of the Beast mode. He used jet mode as jet mode itself, and then he used it as submarine mode, because he went underwater as the jet.
Yeah. Submarine mode. That's awesome.
It's like Tron water.
Oh, Lord, no. Alright, number 2 for me is the Feral Scream 2-parter. Everybody should know by now my favorite Beast Wars Beast Machines character is Cheetor. People might be surprised, well, why isn't that my number 1? Because the episode that's at my number 1 was probably the most shocking revelation for me at the time when I was watching the series. But Feral Scream 2-parter, it's basically an adolescent, young adult growing into a teenager growing into a young adult. And it's all about Cheetor getting a new body. Cheetor's Transmetal 2 body is so much better on the show than the actual friggin' toy. I remember I got that toy when I was collecting, and I'm like, wait, this isn't exactly the colors it was on the show. Oh, show accuracy. Yeah. But Feral Scream, I love the sound effects. I love how caught off guard Megatron is. What is that? What is that thing? I love a lot of the Megatron lines. No, oi.
Yeah.
What is that? What is that thing?
That's what you were making it sound like.
No, it wasn't. Anyway.
It's like Kim
This is
Possible.
my Megatron voice.
Shut the hell up.
What is that? That freaky thing.
What?
naked mole rat song.
What is that? That freaky thing.
It's a naked mole rat.
Alright.
It's funny.
So
Quiet now. Let the girlie sing.
Quiet in the house.
Lord. Alright, Michael, what is your number 1 favorite Transformers episode?
Chronologically, it has to be the first. Actually, the first, second, and third. G1,
Yeah.
More Than Meets the Eye. 3-parter.
Surprise, surprise.
Why is that surprising?
It's not. I'm being sarcastic. Wow, you just had a Sheldon moment. You don't know when sarcasm is happening. Um, so what about the More Than Meets the Eye three-parter is that makes it your number one outside of chronologically?
Oh, so, well,
Chronologically.
it's chronologically. I think that even if these weren't listed chronologically, it might still be my favorite. Just because this is the one that started it. I want to say I saw the original airing on TV when I was little, and it was like, one of those. If it were a scene in a movie, it'd have like one of those Hitchcock, where like zoom in, where you zoom in on a character and the background zooms way out. It's like one of those. It'd be like, my little 10-year-old self freaking out.
11, actually, but yeah.
Yeah, I think I was 11.
Yeah, sure.
I was too old to be playing with toys. I don't know what the hell's wrong with me, but
You still are.
that's true. I'm
right.
so ashamed. Yeah, but yeah, number one, More Than Meets the Eye.
Hi, my name is Michael, and I'm addicted to toys. Hi, Michael.
Hi, Michael. Admitting you have
Alright.
a problem is the first step.
Yes, exactly.
Denying it
All right.
is the second.
Steve, what is your number one?
I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning
Nemesis.
and the end.
Nemesis Part 1 and 2. Mostly Part 2, but it's the coming full circle for just about everybody, because they get the death of Tigerhawk.
Yep.
You have Dinobot because of the death of Rampage and Depth Charge. You have Dinobot being freed and essentially separated back to his original self, because he's snapping out of it little by little with his honor and finding a way to cheat and help the Maximals. You have Rhinox being a badass. You have Rat Trap being a whiny little bitch because he gets his tail shoved into a electrical socket and it incinerates it.
You emasculating fembot.
And Black Arachnia shows Silverbolt what'll happen to him if he cheats on her. And he goes, oh! And so there's that. Primal, going through the Razor Blade fans to fight Megatron was just simply awesome. And then them pummeling each other and Primal getting his ass handed to him because Megatron's reading the Mighty Book and thinks that it's about him.
You're so vain.
Yep. And then he gets his face smashed in with a car. I mean, Rhinox with a shuttle. Which they essentially tie him to, which was the single most dumbest idea they could have done post Beast Wars, knowing how much of a pain in the ass Megatron's been the entire series. Oh, let's strap him to the outside of the hood. He's like a hood ornament, and then he falls off. We didn't even know he fell off. We're just getting shot at when we got home.
We didn't have enough room for him in the trunk, so we just tied him to the hood. This is a terrible idea. Why did we do that?
Because we thought he was a deer. We should have made Primal float on the outside. He's got rockets.
He could have flew home himself. Just hold on to the wing.
He'd pop in space. He can't breathe.
Stewardess, there's something on the wing.
It looks like shit.
This chicken
is raw.
Isn't even cooked.
But yeah, so that's my favorite episode out of all of them. That's the one episode I've watched more times than any other episode of Beast Wars, Beast Machines, Transformers, whatever.
Okay,
Interesting. All right, my number one is for the sheer shock value of this whole episode, this whole arc in Beast Machines is in Darkest Night, when we find out that Jetstorm is really Silverbolt. I know a lot of people hate that they turned Silverbolt into a dark, brooding, Batman-like character, but I found it refreshing because every time he did something so super noble, I wanted to basically pull a rat trap and just smack him upside the head in Beast Wars. So I loved Silverbolt in Beast Machines. Now, are these episodes like what I think are the top 10 best? No, these are just my top 10 favorites, and I'm sure if we had done top 20 or more, we would have more to talk about and more agonizing choices to put at the number one spot. I'm just in love with Beast Machine still. That show is still amazing to this day.
I agree.
Prime. I know Michael doesn't like Prime for the most part, but Prime has its moments.
Has its moments. I'll buy that.
It has its moments. Animated has its moments, and I'm really. I know listeners are probably going to be shocked and surprised that I didn't put Transwarped anywhere on my list, even in the honorable mentions. I honestly, even though it's basically 5 seconds before he gets rusted, I almost forgot about Rodimus. So
that should have been on my honorable mention. Oh, damn it.
Transwarped, yep.
A lot of good animated episodes. I mean, honestly, when I complain that Transformers Prime didn't do anything new and interesting, I'm complaining because we've had new and interesting, and animated showed us how to do it.
I think Prime has a few new and interesting ways of telling a story, but it might. I mean, most of Prime season 2-ish is like basically, hunt for the relics is basically a treasure hunt thing, but
gotta catch them all.
Yeah,
hunt for the MacGuffins.
Yes. But I think is it? God.
Well, Transformers Animated was more of the green raw, kind of more fun, quirky Transformers, whereas Transformers Prime is more dark than any other series we've had to date.
I don't know. Beast Machines is pretty dark.
Beast Machines is dark, but it's not Transformers Prime dark.
Well, I don't know. Let's forget about the levity of the series and focus on the ideas. And again, I don't want to see Unicron all over again. I don't want to see Optimus Prime die all over again.
But they did an interesting way of killing.
The Prime aspect was really good. I liked how they came up with, like, he was just really battle damaged from that ion cannon that came down. So that was an inventive way of essentially putting him near death but not killing him, and then they reforged him so he essentially didn't die. But and they killed Megatron in the show too and brought him back. So I mean that's.
But I mean, if you look at the ideas that came out of animated,
zombies.
Not zombies. Well, I guess
in Prime,
Starscream in Prime, right? But look at, you've got Optimus Prime. Prime is not the end all be all. Prime is a title. It's a captain, literally a captain's chair.
Captain Prime.
Captain, it's Optimus. It's Captain Optimus.
Captain Optimus Primal.
Make it so, Optimus Primal.
Make it so.
Make it so, Optimus Prime. So you've got the Autobot Academy. You've got Autobot Ninjas. You've got the Ninja Academy. There's just so many ideas that were added to the mythos thanks to animated.
With Prime, I think they did storytelling very well, regardless of what you feel about what stories they told.
Yeah.
In season 2, they had 4 episodes back to back to back, for an entire month of episodes where the Autobots all went off on different missions, and these 4 episodes basically told you what each of the teams was doing. You got tunnel vision, triangulation, triage, and toxicity. And then when you get to the episode Hurt, you find out, what happened to them all. And I like how they did that, where they basically broke them all up into teams and basically spotlighted 2 or 3 Autobots, or, Autobots with their human partners. You always complain about the zombies in Prime and complain that it's Unicron. I found Unicron in Prime to be very interesting because it's not just a giant planet of death. It's the core of our...
Yeah.
It's basically saying Earthlings are evil.
Earthlings are bred on the evil blood of an evil planet.
I hate seeing Galactus show up in Transformers every time.
That's right. Where's the Silver Surfer? What bothers me is not so much the fact that, they had zombies. I love zombies. The zombies genre is one of my favorite horror genres. But they introduced zombies. They used them for 2 episodes. And then they said, what zombies? What? Zombie what? And, the idea came up a little bit later when you look at, like, Skyquake. And I want to say the idea may have come up a little, like, another season later, or may not have, I forget. But it's like, hey, okay, let's do zombies. Cool, I can see. Let's run with this. And they ran with it for 2 episodes, and then they forgot about it. Unicron. Well, Unicron's an interesting idea, and they did do it in an interesting way. And then 2 episodes later, Unicron who? What? We're not going to revisit that idea. We're not going to think about that anymore because that was 2 episodes ago. And they did that a lot. And it really bothered me that, it's like they're rehashing old ideas and then they forget about it in 2 episodes. And then, oh, look, it's a new idea. This is interesting. And then 2 episodes later, no, we're not going to deal with that anymore. It's like, well, you tout the storytelling, and yet, where's the sweeping story arcs that we're used to in this new and interesting world of television that we didn't have 30 years ago.
There was that whole 7-part story with Prime. It went from the end of season 1 into the beginning of season 2. Let me look here. Season 1.
Must not have been that memorable.
No, it started with One Shall Fall, went through the 3-parter One Shall Rise, and then went through the 3-parter of Orion Pax.
We're not we're not retreading all of these old G1 storylines. One Shall Fall.
No, it's just that's just a name. That's just the name of an episode. Come on now.
Please, let's go back to G1 and tell me where that line comes from.
Yeah, we know where it comes from.
One shall stand and one shall fall. It's like, yeah, and now it's kind of mandatory that each Prime says that
as he dies.
Not necessarily as he dies.
Actually, this series, Transformers Prime, actually broke it up because
Megatron
Optimus said one line, and then Megatron says...
Yeah, but that's the same thing as what they did in Star Trek Into Darkness.
Yeah.
Well...
And it was terrible.
You can't see it because...
And you know what? It's the same fucking writers.
It's just... Oh, that's true.
No, it's not. No, wait a minute here. It was
that's
not...
funny. I had
Orsi and Kurtzman were executive producers. They have no writing credits on this.
Doesn't matter.
This was
the
all
idea
Stephen
was
Melching's
planted.
fault.
The idea was planted. They were sitting on the boardroom. They're like, you know what would be fun? Let's swap their lines.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, if Megatron said it this time. Oh.
And then they're like, the next time they're like, and you know what would be even more awesome? Let's do it again in Star Trek.
Oh, I think a little
Stephen Melching,
came
please
out.
comment. Stephen Melching, please comment on this episode post and tell them how wrong they are.
I'm telling you, I called out Stephen Melching, and Stephen Melching is like, hey, I'm right here, man. You're bad-mouthing me to my face, and I said, I'm sorry, but how about some better ideas?
Him.
I didn't even know he was the writer at the time. I was just saying, this is some crap writing here, buddy, and it turned out to be him. But it got better. I mean, after that, we got dragons, and maybe dragons are a little lazy, because it's Beast Wars all over again.
Wait a second.
What?
You give more interesting nods to dragons than you do to zombies. Like, you have no problem with dragons.
Again, 2 episodes of zombies, 1 whole season, and a movie with dragons.
Predacons.
Yeah, exactly.
They were Predacons, bitches.
They didn't write in the dragons and then forget about them 2 episodes later. They actually carried through with it, and we got to see the logical conclusion.
The only problem was I didn't like the fact that Megatron turned into a little bitch in the other movie.
The other movie, he
became Unigalvatron.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, Unigalvatron.
He became a Sharkticon.
In Predacons Rising.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Flying. Sharkticon.
Mm.
With Unicron Spark.
Okay.
Lame.
This is going nowhere. Wait, there's this rat hole has gone so deep. I don't even know where it started.
Me either.
It went to the toilet.
Oh God! I think that's gonna do it for this episode of All Things Transformers. Coming up next, we've got the Transformers Countdown number 2, our top 10 favorite characters from all generations.
We have those?
Yes.
There's more than one generation?
Thought about
yes.
Who's in it?
Can't I just say Optimus Prime, and then
no, you can't just say Optimus Prime,
and then Starscream and
Megatron,
no.
and Bumblebee. They're all in everything.
No.
5 Bumblebees in a row. I was feeling really lazy.
5 Bumblebee toys in the movie line alone.
5 Bumblebees alone? I thought you were made of sterner stuff.
5 Bumblebees alone, spinning a bottle.
Oh, God. Close the show, Steve.
One of them will have sex with Prime.
It's like, is that playing with yourself? I don't know.
That's Bumblebee.
Who let that guy in?
Yeah. Bitch slapped him. Thank you for listening to All Things Transformers. Catch you next time.
See ya.
You guys are jerks.
Why is that?
Loop-de-loop, huh?
You have some brass bearings, Bumblebee.
Come out, Autobot. We all must die sometime.
Not today, Galvatron.
Spare me this mockery of justice.
It isn't even dented. Oh, shit, what are we gonna do now? We're being sucked in